Hello and welcome friends to a new video on astrology. Today we'll talk about a very interesting topic, Upapada Lagna, Lord. Now what is Upapada Lagna and how do you calculate that and how do you come to know which planet is your Upapada Lagna Lord? So that we will quickly go through, and that Upapada Lagna Lord is to be calculated from your D1 chart or Rashi chart. Okay, and you have to find out in which zodiac sign that planet Upapada Lagna Lord is placed in your D9 chart, Navamsha chart, the chart of your fortune or the chart of relationship or marriage. So in which zodiac sign the Upapada Lagna Lord of D1 definitely is falling in which zodiac sign in D9. So UL Lord through all 12 signs in D9 chart. That's going to be today's discussion. Do subscribe if you haven't. If you need personal consultation, details are there in the video description. I will definitely take you to a sample chart. Before that, quickly let us, what is the definition of Upapada Lagna. This is a very significant Lagna. That is a sign, zodiac sign in your horoscope. So the ruler of that sign is the Upapada Lagna Lord. Now why this sign or the sign Lord is significant? Because Upapada Lagna and Upapada Lagna Lord, they signify so many qualities of your partner or spouse. Alright, in this life, what sort of relationship you're going to have with your partner, what sort of marital life or what sort of relationship life you're going to lead, what sort of character, what sort of nature your partner is going to possess. Alright, so the health of your marriage or whether you'll be able to lead a happy, prosperous life. So everything can be decoded by looking at the Upapada Lagna and Upapada Lagna Lord and in which dignities it is placed. If it is aspected by malefics, if it is placed in problematic houses, then there could be challenges in your marriage or in your union, in your relationship. But if it is placed in auspicious houses, if it is being aspected by benefics, if it's in good dignity, then definitely you'll be blessed with a happy marriage, with a wonderful spouse or partner. So who will bring good fortune into your life. Now how do you calculate Upapada Lagna? Look at the 12th house of your horoscope. As you know, in a horoscope there are 12 houses. Look at the 12th house. From the 12th house, you have to go to the 12th Lord. Wherever the 12th Lord planet is placed in your horoscope, you have to go there. Say in the 12th house, you have the sign of Gemini. So then, your 12th Lord is Mercury. Find out where Mercury is placed in your horoscope. So from the 12th house, you have to go to Mercury. Say Mercury is in the 4th house. Mercury, say it is in the 4th house of your horoscope. So from the 12th house, how many houses you have to cross in order to reach the 4th house? Alright, so 12, 1, 2, 3, 4. 5 houses. 5 houses. So then Mercury is in the 4th house. So from there, now you have to go 5 houses ahead. So from that position, go 5 houses ahead. So Mercury is in the 4th house. So 4th house, 5th house, 6th house, 7th house, 8th house. So that means your Upapada Lagna will fall in the 8th house of the horoscope. It will fall in the 8th house. Now in the 8th house, what zodiac sign do you have? That you have to find out. And that will be your Upapada Lagna. And the Lord of that sign will be the Upapada Lagna Lord. So quickly, in this case, in the 8th house, which zodiac sign will be there? In the 12th house, we saw that there was Gemini. So in the 5th house, there will be Libra. So in the 8th house, 4th house there is Libra. So in the 8th house you will have Aquarius, the sign of Aquarius. So for this particular native, Upapada Lagna will be Aquarius. It is in Aquarius. Okay, so that is the Upapada Lagna. And the Lord of Aquarius is Saturn. So Upapada Lagna Lord is Saturn. Again, Aquarius is also believed to be co-ruled by Rahu. So you can look at Rahu also. Both Saturn and Rahu in the horoscope, in what dignity. That will say so much about your partner, about your relationship life, about the kind of, equation you have with them, everything. I'll also take you quickly to a sample chart. Okay friends, so this is a sample chart. You can see that this is a chart of a Leo ascendant, a Leo native. Alright, so this particular native, you can see that in the 12th house, this is the 12th house of the horoscope. This is a Lagna chart or D1 chart. So in the 12th house, this particular native has the sign of Cancer. So this is the 12th house. So sign of Cancer, so what is the 12th lord then? The lord of Cancer sign is Moon. So Moon is the 12th lord in this horoscope. So find out where Moon is placed. You can see Moon is placed in the 7th house. So from the 12th house, you count till Moon's position. So if you count, you will see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you have to come 8 houses to reach the 12th lord. From the 12th house, you have come 8 houses. And you have found the 12th lord. Now from the 12th lord position, you have to count 8 houses further away. So from this position of Moon, you have to go 8 houses away from here also. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So in the 2nd house of the horoscope, the Upapada Lagna is falling in the sign of Virgo. So this is the Upapada Lagna for this particular native. This is the Upapada Lagna. Upapada Lagna is Virgo. And we know that Virgo is ruled by Mercury. So Upapada Lagna Lord is Mercury itself. So Upapada Lagna Lord is Mercury, and Mercury is falling also in the 2nd house. Okay, in the sign of Virgo only. For the case of this particular native. In this case. Now, so we have found out the Upapada Lagna Lord. Upapada Lagna Lord is Mercury. So you have to find out in which zodiac sign Mercury is placed in the D9 chart of this particular native. This is the D1 chart or Lagna chart. So in the D9 chart, Mercury is placed in which house? Okay, friends, so this is the D9 chart of that native. So in the D9 chart or Navamsha chart, the chart of fortune, you can see that Mercury is in the 12th house of D9 and Mercury is in the sign of Pisces. So this is Mercury. Mercury is in the sign of Pisces in the D9 chart. So this is how you have to find out that Upapada Lagna Lord in D1, for this particular native it is Mercury. So that planet is in which zodiac sign in the D9 chart. So in the D9 chart it is in the sign of Pisces. So it will be in Pisces. Now there are certain exceptions also. Alright, there are certain exceptions to the calculation of Upapada Lagna or Upapada Lagna Lord. Now these are the two most important exceptions which I feel cannot be ignored. So the first exception is that if the 12th lord falls in either the 12th house or 6th house, then the UL or Upapada Lagna is believed to be in the 9th house. It's believed to fall in the 9th house of the horoscope. This is one exception. Another exception is if the calculated UL or if the calculated Upapada Lagna falls in the 12th house or 6th house, then you have to calculate 10 houses away from there. If the calculated UL or Upapada Lagna falls in the 12th or 6th, go 10 houses away from there, and ultimately you will land up in a certain house where you'll find a certain zodiac sign. That will be the Upapada Lagna. So these are the two most important exceptions. We are looking at UL Lord in D1 or Rashi chart, in which zodiac sign it is going to in the D9 chart of fortune. That means the true essence of your relationship you will come to know when you look at the UL Lord of D1, and it's, in which zodiac sign that planet is placed in the D9. So from there you'll come to know the real nature of the relationship that you share with your partner and the true character of your partner. Okay, look at the zodiac sign in which it is placed in the D9 chart, and also look at the sign lord. Say for example, your UL lord of D1 is falling in the sign of Gemini in D1, then you have to look at the lord of Gemini. The lord of Gemini is Mercury. How Mercury is placed in D9 and D1, that will be very important. So that will say so much about your partner, the relationship that you share with your partner, and everything, the health of your relationship. Now, Gemini in itself will say so many things, but the true dignity of the relationship you will come to know when you look at the Lord of Gemini, that is Mercury, how it is placed in D1 and D9. So now let's get started. Alright, so if Upapada Lagna Lord of your D1 is in the sign of Aries in your D9 chart or Navamsha chart, then that is the essence of the relationship, okay, which is now going to be denoted by Aries. Because in the Navamsha it is in the sign of Aries. And Navamsha is a chart of, depth. It shows what is the true essence of something. So in this case, the relationship. So that means this relationship definitely will work if it's an Aries in the D9, that planet. So there has to be a passionate connection. The physical aspect of the relationship will be important. There has to be loyalty, commitment, and there has to be passionate connection. Traveling together, doing adventurous things together, all that will improve the relationship and make the relationship healthy. Alright? So these things are vital for the relationship. So there shouldn't be any sort of boredom. Alright? So always taking the initiative to do new things with each other, going for new experiences. So all that will improve relationship. Partner's nature. Partner can at times be impulsive, at times may lose their temper, there can be anger issues. So they may be very active, also energetic. Alright, they can be intuitive, even knowledgeable. Depends on how the Upapada Lagna Lord is placed and by which planets it's being aspected. So yes, they will also believe in their sense of self-esteem. They can be very self-dependent. They'll focus a lot on themselves also. At times you may feel that they are somewhat egoistic. You may feel that also. So there could be ego clashes in the relationship. So it's very important to, see to it that this relationship should be based on proper understanding. And there has to be, you'll have to be prepared to make compromises also. Otherwise there can be ego problems. This is possible. Right? A very energetic connection, a union, which is definitely a result of deep-rooted passion for each other. So that is important. But yes, your partner you may feel that they are restless, they are not stable, alright? But they are basically looking for a passionate connection with you and obviously a committed relation. Now let's move on to what will happen if Upapada Lagna Lord of D1 is in the sign of Taurus in D9. Sensuality, pleasure-giving, beauty, love, romance, all that is important in the relationship. And long-term commitment. Things may mature slowly and steadily in the relationship, but this is a relationship which is based on commitment, serious relationship. And you are also looking for stability. Your partner is also looking for a long-term, lifelong relationship of commitment. Giving pleasure to each other, leading a comfortable life together, sensual pleasures also. All that is important in the relationship. And taking care of each other, providing each other with nourishment, all that is also important. Your partner can be very goal-oriented, systematic, structured. After all, it's Taurus, methodical. So they can be hardworking. Again, if find out Taurus is ruled by Venus, so how Venus is placed, because Upapada Lagna, Lord of D1, is in the sign of Taurus in D9. Alright, so you have to find out in what dignity even Venus is placed in D1 and D9 both. So yeah, so all these things, if it is in Taurus, so serious commitment. Spouse can be, or partner can be somebody who's very analytical, intuitive. Yes, they can be materialistic. They want to amass wealth and resources by dint of their own hard work or efforts. It's possible. Now let's move on to what will happen if the Upapada Lagna Lord is in the sign of Gemini in your D9 chart or Navamsha chart. So you have calculated Upapada Lagna Lord from D1. So now that planet is in the sign of Gemini in your D9. Relationship should be based on friendship, healthy communication, healthy give and take. Very important in the relationship. Friendship is important, and sharing jokes, doing fun things with each other, playing games with each other, taking recourse to role playing during love making, traveling together, undertaking journeys together, sharing hobbies, interests, all that will improve your relationship. Healthy give and take is very important, and healthy communication is very important in the relationship. If Upapada Lagna Lord is in Gemini in your D9 chart. So if you're not ready for healthy partnership, then this relationship will not work, because there has to be constant give and take. Give and take, healthy, in a healthy way. As friends, you have to be there for each other to support each other. Your spouse or person or partner can be somebody who's very witty, intelligent. Again, Gemini is ruled by Mercury. How it is placed, you have to find out. So if it is well placed, then they'll be very witty, intelligent, fun-loving. Alright? So they can have intellectual capabilities, great abilities of calculation, logical mindset, and very practical. But they can have a dual nature, duality of character. So it's very difficult to know what they are actually wanting or, supporting or endorsing, because they can be, any moment they can shift their loyalties because they are dual by nature. So that is the true nature of Gemini. So all these things, if Upapada Lagna Lord of D1 is in Gemini in D9, now let's move on to if UL Lord is in Cancer sign in your D9 chart. So UL Lord of D1 in Cancer in your Navamsha chart. Then this relationship will flourish if it is based on mutual love, concern, providing nourishment to each other. Alright? Taking care of each other. Motherly affection should be there. Even sensual connection, deep-rooted, chemistry, great sexual compatibility, all that will improve the relationship, besides loving and caring for each other. So all that is important. But yes, because Upapada Lagna Lord is in Cancer in D9, there can be ups and downs in the relationship. Mood swings, your partner may suffer from mood swings. At times they can be very emotional, sensitive. At times they can be a little aloof and detached. Alright? So very difficult to predict their, behavior or their mood. They can be a little somewhat unpredictable, even secretive. Alright? But nevertheless, if moon is in good dignity, then they will be caring. Okay? They will be protective also. So, all that. The nurturing energy will be there. And if moon is in good dignity, there'll be true emotional connection, intuitive connection. Your person can be creative, artistic, intuitive. They can do well in research, investigation, in technology, in any field of artistic abilities, creative skills they can have. They can be very intuitive. They can be into healing, occult also. So they'll be very sensitive and very, a person, someone who's very intuitive. Someone who's also deeply knowledgeable, it's possible. Now let's move on to what will happen if the UL Lord of D1 is in the sign of Leo in D9. Wow. So if Sun is in good dignity, that means this is the good deeds, it's a result of good deeds of your past life that you've met this person actually. So you have to actually, cherish them. This relationship should be based on love, romance, and spiritual connection. True love, very important. Unconditional true love. Because after all, it's a sign of Leo. Alright, being generous, also, willing to sacrifice anything you can for your partner because it's a spiritual connection. Friendship is important, sharing hobbies, interests with each other. Alright, that is important. Your person can be very skillful, knowledgeable, intuitive. They can also be playful. At times they can be a little egoistic. So in this relationship there could at times be ego clashes. Be careful. But nevertheless, this relationship, if UL Lord of D1 is in Leo in D9, it should be based on serious commitment. Loyalty is very important. Alright, that is important. And true love, romantic connection is important in the relationship. If Sun is getting afflicted, then your partner, either they will not be self-confident, or else they may be someone who can even, if Sun is getting afflicted, they can even be people who may either try to dominate you or they may cheat on you. Again, if Sun is not in good dignity. Because after all, UL Lord of D1 is in Leo in D9. So you need to find out how Sun is placed in both D9 and D1. So from there you can decode so many things about the health of your partnership or marriage. Now let's move on to what will happen when UL Lord of D1 is in the sign of Virgo in your D9 chart. This relationship will work if there is commitment, if there is that desire to make efforts for each other, the desire to serve each other. That is important. Do things on a routine basis. Alright, maybe making love making also, on a regular basis and doing things for each other. I mean, also helping each other on a day-to-day basis. That is very important when it's in Virgo, because Virgo is the sign which demands constant efforts, and it is a sign which reminds you that love can be a tedious job. So you have to make efforts. You cannot take each other for granted. You have to go on making efforts. You have to show up when you need to. You have to do special things for your partner on special occasions which you cannot miss. Only then this relationship will survive. Otherwise there can be problems, arguments, conflicts, disagreements, which can make this relationship bitter. If person or spouse is connected to your workplace, then it's going to be very good for the relationship. Alright, so then you meet them at your workplace on a day-to-day basis. You are also talking to them, collaborating with them, maybe helping each other. Then this relationship will definitely can be successful if somehow they are connected to your day-to-day work. Even if not connected to your workplace, if they are assisting you also in your day-to-day work, or if you are assisting them, then it is good for the overall relationship. Yes, at times your spouse may be over-analytical, critical. You may feel that they are a perfectionist and they're very much, they tend to criticize you for everything. They're so meticulous even about small details. So all these things also can happen, because after all, UL Lord of D1 is in the sign of Virgo. So you have to handle all of that with maturity. You have to analyze things. Why, if conflicts are taking place, why they are taking place, how to avoid them. Alright, and making constant efforts in the relationship is important. to reach out to each other. Only then it can survive. Now let's move on to what will happen if UL Lord of D1 goes to the sign of Libra in your D9 chart, or Navamsha, the chart of fortune. So this relationship should be based on healthy give and take, partnership, even friendship. You have to be there for your partner whenever they need you, and they also have to be there with you whenever you need them. As simple as that. The secret to maintaining healthy relationship is maintaining balance and harmony. In the relationship, it's very important. So your partner can be somebody, again, look at how Venus is placed. If it's well placed, your partner can be sociable. Your partner can be, they can have a very pleasant appearance and personality. They can also have interpersonal skills. They can have great business acumen. So all these qualities your partner can have. This relationship will survive if there is healthy give and take between the couple. There has to be healthy exchanges, even exchanging your ideas, thoughts, intellectual discussions. All that will improve your relationship. Traveling together, alright, sharing hobbies, interests, being there for each other, always through thick and thin. All that will improve the relationship and will, definitely make this relationship a lasting one. Yes, physical attraction, great sexual compatibility is also important in the relationship if UL Lord of D1 is in the sign of Libra in D9. So all these things about Libra. Now let's move on to what will happen if UL Lord of D1 goes to the sign of Scorpio in your D9 chart. Alright, this is a heavily karmic relationship actually, because UL Lord of D1 has gone to Scorpio in D9. So a very karmic relationship you have with your partner. There has to be intimacy, true intimacy, transparency, mutual trust, surrendering to each other, even being ready to sacrifice your happiness for each other, a spiritual connection with each other, besides having deep-rooted, intimate connection and great sexual compatibility. All that is important. Otherwise, there can be a split. Otherwise, both the parties, they can get distanced from each other also. If there is lack of trust, if there is lack of sexual compatibility, then they may drift apart. It can happen. So trust is very important also in this relationship if it's in Scorpio. And your partner or person can be somebody who's very spiritual. Your spouse can be very intuitive, but at times they may even try to control you. They may get aggressive, very revengeful, vindictive at times. It's possible. Find out how Mars is placed in D9 and D1. That will tell you so much about your spouse's true nature. If Mars is in good dignity, then definitely they'll be very intuitive, very sensitive, even emotionally sensitive. They can have healing abilities. Alright, they can have a magnetic pull and you will get drawn to them. You'll be very much attracted to them, even physically. Alright, so they'll have a wonderful aura. So if Mars is well placed, okay, so but they can also appear to be someone who's mysterious, secretive. All right, so only when you maintain intimate relationship with them, you can know what exactly is going on, in their minds. So you will not be able to know what they are thinking about or what they are in essence unless you have a truly intimate relationship with them, because they are otherwise, they can be people who are very, very even shy and secretive. They may not open up easily. It's possible because that is how they believe in, protecting their aura maybe. So they believe in being secretive and mysterious, or they are, secretive by nature. So all these things, if Upapada Lagna Lord of D1 goes to the sign of Scorpio in D9. So intimate connection is very important. and spiritual, deep-rooted spiritual connection. That is being ready to do anything for your partner. So, being ready to sacrifice your happiness for them. You may at times feel, again, if Mars is not so well placed, that at times they are a little controlling. At times they may be very possessive about you. They may even get addicted to the intimacy that they share with you. So all that is possible. Now let's move on to what will happen if the UL Lord of D1 goes to the sign of Sagittarius in your D9. This is also definitely an indication that you have found this partner in this life because of your past life karma. Alright, so yes, a karmic bond, and as a result of, if you have now again Sagittarius, so find out how Jupiter is placed. If Jupiter is well placed in D9 and D1, that means the good deeds of your past life. And so in this life, you're fortunate to find this partner or spouse. But if Jupiter is afflicted, then maybe some karmic exchanges will have to happen, and you'll have to learn certain karmic lessons in the relationship. If Jupiter is afflicted, then there could be a problematic relationship with partner. So it all depends on Jupiter's dignity, because UL Lord of D1 is in the sign of Sagittarius in your D9. If it is more or less well placed, your person will be philosophical, knowledgeable, they can be committed to you, loyal, they can be very goal-oriented in life, optimistic, they can be religious, dutiful, they will believe in following the path of dharma or duty no matter what, and they will never compromise on their duty. They can also be very forward-looking, progressive mindset, in the sense that they're very optimistic, always chasing their goals. They always want to grow and expand. They want to attract growth, expansion in life. They want to attract fortune in life. All right. So then, if your fortune gets tied to such a person, you will in turn become more fortunate in life. All right. So it all depends on how Jupiter is placed and in what dignity in D9 and D1, because after all, UL Lord of D1 is going to the sign of Sagittarius. Now, this relationship definitely has to be based on spiritual connection also. Alright, spiritual connection. At times you may feel that your partner is a little restless, and Sagittarius is a dual sign. So a duality also can be there in them. Alright. So some restlessness, some duality, unpredictability also. Your partner can be somebody who's very unpredictable, because Sagittarius is a typical dual sign. So all these things about your partner, but nevertheless, if Jupiter is well placed, they'll be duty bound, they'll be knowledgeable, and you can turn to them for advice, suggestions. Alright, and if Jupiter is well placed, then you'll become fortunate in life because of this connection with your partner. Commitment is the key. Being committed to each other is very important. Relationship should be based on a sense of duty towards each other, a sense of responsibility should be there towards each other. Only then it can be successful. Now let's move on to what will happen if UL Lord of D1 goes to the sign of Capricorn in D9. Again, Capricorn, ruled by Saturn, the planet of karma. This makes it a very karmic relationship if UL Lord of D1 goes to the sign of Capricorn in D9. A very karmic bond you have. Now, how Saturn is placed, in which dignity it is placed, in which houses it is falling in D1, D9, and how it is placed, by which planets it is being aspected, all that will say so much about the kind of relationship that you'll have with your partner. Alright, if Saturn is more or less in good dignity, then definitely you will have a wonderful relationship. Things may mature slowly. Understanding may develop over a period of time, because Saturn gives you results very slowly. But then, nevertheless, your partner will be somebody who's very responsible, dutiful towards you. They will also believe in justice and fairness of treatment. They will believe in that. So they will want that there is always fair treatment. And they will believe in shouldering their responsibilities and performing their duties also. They will believe in that. Alright, they want fair give and take in the relationship. It's true. But at times, they can be a little controlling. Now, depends on how Saturn is placed in your horoscope, because after all, Capricorn is also the sign of power, authority. At times, they may dictate things to you, that you need to do this, you need to do something like this. So they may dictate things to you. Okay, so they will expect that you will conform to what they are saying, and you will conform to certain norms which they are going to fix for you. It's possible because at times they will want to control you. Yes, and they will want things to happen in their way, actually, in the way they want things to be. So yeah, that somehow, because you see in the D9 it is falling in Capricorn, so they will never want to lose control. So they are your spouse or partner, and so they will always make you realize that you have to be within their control, or they will make you feel that. So, and they will want you to be equally responsible to them also. Just as they will want to shoulder responsibilities, they will also want you to be responsible towards you, or even maybe towards their family. So all those expectations they will have, it's possible. So at times you may feel that your partner is very cold and rigid and distant, and you're not being able to connect with them. But if Saturn is well placed, then it can be a lasting relationship, the promise of a committed relationship, and over time, because you will realize that after all your person is somebody who's very responsible, reliable, so then very duty bound. So then you will definitely, you and your partner, you can be in a committed relationship, a long-term, lasting, lifelong relationship also. That's possible. Now let's move on to what will happen if your Lord of D1 goes to the sign of Aquarius in D9. It can be a very unconventional relationship. Alright? A relationship which is not so conventional, something unusual about it. Maybe it is not sticking to the norms that are set by society. When we think of relationship, society also has certain expectations that, it will be someone who belongs to maybe your culture, or someone, within a certain age bracket. So these are certain expectations which are there. All right. So certain expectations. Now, so certain norms. So these norms actually are set by society. All right. So when it is an Aquarius, you will break all norms. You will break free, and you will not believe in, any boundaries. You will believe that nothing can stop me from, connecting with this person, because it's an Aquarius. So it can be a relationship, unconventional and very unpredictable also, and a sudden connection. It can happen suddenly. It can develop suddenly also, if it's an Aquarius. Aquarius is ruled by Saturn and also Rahu. Find out how Saturn or Rahu, the north node of the moon, how these planets are placed in D1 and D9. You will decode so many things from the position or dignity of Rahu and Saturn in your horoscope. So if they are more or less well placed, then it will be a wonderful relationship based on healthy give and take. In this relationship, you have to give space to each other. That's very important. Respecting each other's space is very important. Your person will have a high sense of individuality, freedom. They will want you to give them space. All right. So yeah, and so all these things. Also, your person can be someone who is very intelligent, who will believe in friendship, healthy give and take, and someone who's an intellectual, someone who can do research, investigation, someone who is very intelligent, someone who has intellectual power. So if it's an Aquarius. But yes, again, somebody who, again, find out how Saturn and Rahu are placed. If they are well placed, they'll have extraordinary intelligence and intellectual capabilities, and by dint of their intellectual powers, they can achieve even the impossible. But if Saturn Rahu not in good dignity, then they can set unrealistic goals and targets. They can live in their own fantasy world. That is also possible. They may set unrealistic targets which they may not be able to fulfill. They may be over ambitious, and they may not have any clue how to fulfill their ambition if Saturn Rahu are not well placed. If they are well placed, then your person will be very ambitious and very successful in life, and they will have great intellectual powers, will have great intuitive abilities also. So they can be into occult, healing, research, investigation, and so on, even technology. Now let's move on to what will happen if UL Lord of D1 goes into the sign of Pisces in your D9. So this relationship demands loyalty, mutual trust, compassion for each other. Compassion, the desire to sacrifice even your happiness, joy, comfort for each other. That is important. So when you have compassion, true compassion, when you let go of each other's follies and shortcomings, and you're ready to embrace the person no matter what, because you have tolerance, you have forgiveness, compassion, only then this relationship will survive. If person belongs to foreign culture, foreign land, if they belong to some different culture, origin, cultural background, it's very good for the relationship. Or if you have met your person in a foreign land, or after marriage, if you settle down in a foreign land, that's all these are good indications for the relationship. Nevertheless, your person can have creative abilities, artistic abilities. They can be very intuitive, very emotionally sensitive. All right. So they're looking for a long-term relationship with you, definitely. And they are definitely looking for a relationship which is based on, even you are looking for a relationship which is based on true emotional connection, intuitive connection, great sexual compatibility also should be there on the one hand, and eventually this relationship should develop into a spiritual bond also, spiritual connection where you're ready to sacrifice things for each other. So all that is important. So relationship based on compassion, spiritual connection, spiritual love, besides having even bed compatibility, sexual compatibility, that is also important in the relationship. And trust, mutual trust. If there is lack of trust, then you may get distanced from your partner, or your partner may go away from you, and there will be some distance in the relationship, and you may get estranged from each other if there is lack of trust, because there has to be total transparency and total reliability, relying on each other, believing in each other, and having true emotional connection with each other. That is important in the relationship. Your person can also be very charitable, forgiving. They can be someone who can be associated with charitable organizations. They may do charity actively. It's very good. They need to be charitable also. If if the UL Lord of D1 goes to the sign of Pisces in D9, then they should always donate whatever they can, like donating vegetarian food or money to the weak, to the needy is important. So all these things, and your person can be very intuitive. They can have in-depth knowledge of things. So they can go into occult, healing, technology also. So they can be very creative, artistic also by nature, or they can have any sort of creative, artistic, intuitive skills. So all these things, if the UL Lord of D1 goes to the sign of Pisces in your D9 chart or the chart of fortune. And again, even if it is in Pisces, it is also a very karmic relationship. Definitely. It is a heavily karmic relationship in this life, and you need to actually, do justice to this relationship. And unfortunately, say, God forbid, if, a certain native, if they have to part ways also, then see to it that it happens in a very amicable way, so that you learn your karmic lessons and, you part ways in a very amicable way. Why? Because this is a very karmic bond. All right? So, yeah. And if you can stick to each other, and if you can always be there for each other, then it's wonderful. then it's going to be a divine blessing for you actually. So this relationship can really, because it's a truly karmic bond, and if you can do justice to this bond, then you'll be blessed by the divine. So being ready to forgive each other, being ready to embrace each other in spite of all shortcomings and follies, that is the key. All right, having compassion. So that is important. So that was my take on UL Lord of D1, sign of Pisces in D9, and also my take on what will happen when the Upapada Lagna Lord of D1 goes to different signs in D9 chart. If it's there in all 12 signs from Aries to Pisces in your D9 or chart of fortune, what results you can expect. Do let me know what you think about this video in the comment section. And if you want personal consultation, details are there in the video description. And friends, before I wind up, we all need to be compassionate, kind to people who are in need of help in old age homes, orphanages or care homes. Let us donate vegetarian food to them. Let us be kind to people who are physically, mentally challenged, and let us also be kind to all animals, birds and creatures, and let us try to be a vegetarian. See you next time with another interesting video. Take care. Thank you.